Quick apologies to make. We did advertise this one as Harry Flowers, who was going to be joining with us today. So we've had to change the format around, but unfortunately he's on babysitting duty. So if you're watching this at home, Harry,
that's a fine Harry, by the way, first one of the season.
Yeah, he's in the bad books because I'd sorted out a quiz for you and everything. But
all that work you went into as well, I didn't realise it.
Yeah, ChatGPT was like burning it with just putting so much into it. So today is we're on the eve of the World Cup. England's last friendly goes on a bit later on today, as you're probably all aware. And obviously, there's been so much going on at the club since the end of the season. Signings galore coming in. Bit of a shout out to the social media team, which is looked after by Craig. They've done an absolute fantastic job of the reveals for the transfers. You can comment on anything, by the way, tonight. Drop some messages in. We've got a team who will be able to put those questions across to us.
Have we got comments?
We've got anything come
through? We've got comments. Yeah. George, we've got comments. Nathan, we've got comments.
2 comments, no audio, no sound, but it's fixed now.
Brilliant. Yeah. Great start.
Shall we start again?
This is the third one as well.
Yeah, that's my one big part.
Rich, you've done brilliant as well.
Take 27.
So I remembered the 70's prop, which is that. Well, are you going to do a bit of a guessing game?
I think I might just. I hope the audio's gone again. I'll tell you what. Let's move on. Let's get all that. Welcome to the show.
Nice to be here, fellas.
Yeah, it's
going well at the minute. It's like Timmy Mallet whack a day.
Thanks for coming on tonight. I know it's a bit of a changed format from what we probably sold it to you. So, as we know, you're entertaining anyway, so we'll just wind you up and let you get on with it. And do a bit of a song and dance routine. But thanks for joining us tonight. It won't be too taxing. It's just about having a bit of a chat, giving the fans that little bit of insight into Stafford Rangers, like we have done before. So. Thanks for joining us.
Take the bobble out,
Rich. You can take everything out and relax a little bit.
Just before we start, I just definitely want to touch on the sad death of Eric Robbins at the weekend. Dedicated football fan to this football club, legend, supporter, and what he's done over the years. And it would have been nice, obviously, this year to have a little bit of success for someone like Eric, who's followed them through thick and thin. And I remember being the manager here the first time, and he's always optimistic and brilliant. So really sad news at the weekend, and the management team are all deeply devastated about that news. So well said. We couldn't agree with you more. And it's times like this and from statements like that just goes to show that non-league football in particular has got that community feel to it. Yeah. Stafford Rangers is in the heart of that, and Eric was.
He was Mr.
Rangers. Last time I spoke to him, he was still talking about his Tenerife holidays, and fair play to him. But God bless him. It was sad news at the weekend.
Hopefully we can have a season that makes Eric proud.
Absolutely, and all the supporters.
Definitely, without a doubt. But let's concentrate on you.
Yeah, no worries. Brilliant. Can't wait.
Really appreciate the fact that you've come on here. Obviously, I've seen you quite a bit over the last few weeks. Some great, some interesting, things that are going on. Interesting fun. Yeah, there's been a lot of fun, a lot of last-minute phone calls, and we've signed another one, so get them down. But we're going to concentrate on you today. And Rich has got a little quick fire round just to get to know me, to see what he prefers from one to the other.
Yeah, we started doing these as a little bit of icebreakers. So your quick fire round. I mean, you can thank Harry because you've got the whole lot of this. Because he did some of this. So I just want this is not too taxing. Hopefully, just one answer, please.
I might want to know why though on some of them.
Yeah, that's your prerogative, not a problem. So tea or coffee?
Coffee.
I'm happy with that.
Favourite football ground?
Highbury.
Played there once. It was fantastic.
Nice
I remember the clock end, and it was brilliant.
Who did you play there?
It was for Swindon Town.
For Swindon.
It was a reserve game.
Brilliant.
I was only 17, and they had Steve Bold, Martin Keown, David Lindigan. I think. Yeah, it was quite taxing day, that one. But it was unbelievable. No, I think we lost 2-0 or something like that.
Fair enough. This is the problem with this quick fire round. Best player you played with?
Oh, goodness me. Do you know what the gaffer asked me that the other day? Do you remember Stuart Slater?
Yeah,
Played for Celtic, West Ham, brilliant. What a lovely bloke, and what a footballer. He came to Forest Green at the end of his career before he went to Australia, but Yeah, he was fabulous on the ball. You know, he had his own ball basically. You know.
Got a little bit unlucky, didn't he? I guess with his career, like, 'cause he could have. You know, he was one of those. I remember him being linked with big. You know, really
Well, he
big
went to
clubs,
Celtic for 3 million. It's not bad back in the 90s.
Celtic were a big side then, weren't they, as well?
But what a lovely bloke as well. You know, he was a top footballer. My God, technically very good.
Good shout out there. Best manager you've worked under?
Tough, really. I've played for one or two bad managers, I'll tell you that. And the two probably best. And Chris Wilder's definitely one of them. Still in touch with him now. Legend, great man manager. And he had some good banter as well. And I wouldn't say he was one of the best managers I've played for, but when I've obviously managed and coached, and his ideology and the way he set his teams up was obviously Tony Pulis. I ended up Bristol City, and my God, he demanded, but he also so thorough, you know, in how he wanted us to play against teams. And yeah, he was well. Look at his career; he's a different class.
Yeah, really well thought.
Not just the wrong throw merchant. Then
no, he did. He liked to play horrible, but he just wanted. All he did is he realised and understood what his teams were good at doing.
He did well,
and he overemphasised that, and that's how how he succeeded.
Was he a baseball cap wearer then?
All the time, yeah. All the time, yeah.
He was born with that cap.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, nice fella though.
Early bird or night owl?
God, it used to be night owl, but at the minute I'm falling asleep at 7 o'clock at night. So we need some World Cup on the telly.
I've heard some stories, but maybe that's
yeah, definitely, mate.
Favourite football shirt of all time?
Do you know what? I was a big Bradford City fan as a kid. And don't ask me why, because I lived in Plymouth.
Yes.
But my mum and dad are from Bradford, so. But Bradford City kit, 1989, it was a Grattan one, a Grattan catalogue. I think it was a white one.
All right, okay.
I loved it.
Nice colours as well.
Yeah, claret and amber, beautiful.
To be fair,
yeah, it was brilliant.
3 words to describe Stafford Rangers.
Now or over the?
Yeah, now.
3 words, God. I need a thesaurus. United.
Yeah.
Optimistic. And I'd say for this season, everyone's obviously confident.
Nice.
But yeah, everyone's always, you know, trying to unite and pull the club together and things like that. And that's one thing that's we've gone on about this before. I think I've seen with Daz, but the whole town is willing for some success.
Yeah.
And I even feel it now. I live here and I speak to people all over the place, bars or restaurants and.
Bars,
yeah, obviously. I got silent. No, but
bars or restaurants.
Craig, even my next door neighbour, bless him, Mick, he's 84 and he shows me the rosettes and the paper cuttings and and you understand that back then it was a massive football club and it was people's lives. And I'm not saying it's not now, but it's obviously you've got the young kids now and the generations that have missed out on 2 or 3 generations of any sort of success. And it needs to come back because this place would take off, you know, it really would.
Yeah, absolutely. Promotion or FA Cup giant killing?
Promotion all day. Even though, you know, an FA Cup can really set you up financially, so you can understand, but a promotion to a football club, especially for us, it's massive.
What if we drew Forest Green in the...
Do you know what? I've played for them 3 times, mate. I don't want to go back to Forest Green. And it's a changed football club to what it was when I get invited back every now and then. And it was a fantastic place to sort of set up my football career. But them people now sadly aren't involved at their, you know, who you fell in love with at that time.
Favourite footballer growing up?
Mad one, Stuart McCall. I was a Bradford City fan, legend, hero, and
Ginger.
Well, again, I was a Bradford City fan, and I used to write to him and things when I was a kid. And then I was a Bradford Park Avenue manager, and he was a Bradford City manager. So I've got a photo of me playing snooker with him as a kid, and then a photo of me 6 years ago. Obviously, we played him in a pre-season, and it's like, oh my God, to go that full circle was like. Don't know, it was one of them things where you think, take it back, you know, nostalgia and but also Paul Gascoigne, I loved him. absolutely.
Yeah.
I loved everything about him.
I mean, you'll get any arguments with that. So it's sort of a British. Well,
It's a favourite.
Just a character.
I think people are sort of ages like our age group.
I was in Benidorm for a stag do not that long ago, and they've got a Rangers and Celtic bar there, and he turned up at a Rangers bar, and it was absolutely.
Did he fall off the car? Have you seen that one? Where they won promotion?
No, he
That'll be me this year.
There wasn't a bit that went through afterwards, but yeah, he was. Yeah, no, it's just he's loved everywhere, isn't he? He's one of those
Nice
footballers
bloke, really nice bloke.
together. Last one for you then. One thing supporters don't know about you.
Oh God.
Keep it PG.
Do you know my mum and dad lived 8 doors away from the Yorkshire Ripper? That's one for you, isn't it? Peter Sutcliffe, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go. That's a mad one, isn't it? From the left wing there.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Where did we go with that one?
Well, not to Yorkshire.
No.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Bingley.
There you go. Yeah, I don't suppose anybody will know
No,
that.
I don't think anyone's left to speak to there on the comments there. If you actually
Sorry, mum and dad.
If you lived close to a serial killer, let us know in the comments.
That could be a next feature.
Cheers for that. That was brilliant. And yeah, we get to know you a little bit more through just some really quick questions. And I mean, one thing I've spoke to you about last few weeks as well is just about yourself and about that career. And you spoke that you've been at Forest Green there 3 times.
Yeah.
You played for Bristol City. You played for some good clubs down in that region. Quite a lot of clubs. Me and Richard tried to work out on Wikipedia how many. We don't know.
There's a lot.
True.
There's a lot.
There is a lot on there.
But in the end of my career,
it's a good job.
Hey?
You don't pay per word for your Wikipedia page because the clubs alone would have you.
That first 6 or 7 was my proper career really. At the end, you're just navigating and trying to still earn your money and still stay in the game and things. You know.
When I
went to Norwich, so I lived in Plymouth, and there was 3 of us. Oh, it wouldn't even be allowed now. We used to get on the train at 5 in the morning. Me, another lad, Darren Way, who's now the Torquay United assistant manager, and Kev Parker, another good lad, funny lad. We used to get on the train at 5 in the morning, get to the first team game for about 2 o'clock, watch the first team, then have a KFC after they take it, and then we'd play on a Sunday morning, and then come back on the train. My schoolwork just went. I was copying homework on the school bus every Monday morning. It was just, you couldn't do it. And if I look back, it was the worst decision ever. But I was a kid who had every club really after me at that time at 14, 13. England last 32 with, the likes of, I don't want to name drop, but I will, but Wes Brown, Stephen Gerrard, they were all my. So I've got the Lilleshall things at home and stuff. So it was all happening for me as a 14-year-old.
How did that happen then for Norwich from Plymouth?
Yeah,
was there not like
what made you go
Southampton
there?
to Plymouth?
They obviously sent scouts. We got invited up. I mean, I used to stay at Dario Gradi's house in Crewe. We used to go there half terms. I'd go to Everton, and so you travel around, and then all of a sudden, associate schoolboy forms it was then at 14, where they take you for 2 years, and I decided for whatever reason they offered you the world. They made you feel. I was only that big, but they made you feel 6'4" as a 14-year-old, and I signed, and I loved it. But when I went there, it was like, wow, how is this? There was already 6 lads promised 2-year professional contracts and things. You don't understand all that when it's happening.
They'd had a good record as well, Norwich, of bringing players through. Darren Eady.
Oh my God, all of
lads that had come through their youth academy.
And it was brilliant. Again, that set me up. I was doing the London Underground at 14 with me or Darren Way, or sometimes on my own. And you're like,
crazy to think that.
You wouldn't do it.
No, I did it the other week. Took my 12-year-old boy to the cup final, and I'm like, wow, this is like. What's going on here?
Crazy, isn't it?
How did I do this?
Yeah.
So I've got a few in these ones. We haven't sort of planned to do this, but like you've got your footballing journey began in Plymouth then.
Yeah.
And so you schoolboy in Thorns and schools and that. Did you get scouted, or how did that work?
It was scouted, and then you go on your England trials and things, and you're playing for your county, and then people are obviously aware then, aren't they? They've got 4 or 5 probably scouts who.
Were you proper prolific, were you, as well?
Yeah, I was decent as a 14, 15-year-old. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Owen and Rooney scoring 70, 80
yeah,
goals
I think in the DJM of Plymouth, one season I scored 92 goals under 12s.
Right,
Yeah.
if you've got those records.
I'm telling you, I'll ring my best mate up, Tom Bass, and he'll tell you.
Yeah, I mean that's fantastic. You do hear that. But it's quite rare though, isn't it? I mean, to go from that and then obviously you've got all these dreams of going into things, and then it sort of starts. Where's the age where that starts? The realisation.
When my dad got offered a job to go to Australia, he was in the Navy, but he got offered to go to a job, and I got a little bit upset. And I remember hearing my dad speak to my mum and saying, "I'm not going because he's got a chance of being a footballer." Wow. I remember hearing that conversation, and my dad said no. Yeah. And I always think, I look at my career, and I always think they gave me everything. My mum and dad took me everywhere. You know, I've never, and my sister supported me everywhere. But I always think to myself, I just wish I'd have gone a little bit better. You know, just to make it worth his while. But it is what it is.
You had a good career. You scored plenty of goals. Yeah. And you won promotions. How high did you expect yourself to go though? When like I said, when you're scoring that many goals as a young lad, and that what were your dreams at that age?
I wanted to play for my country. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to go the whole way. Yeah. I had that inner belief as well, and that confidence. And I already had a few knockbacks. You know, I was good slatters. I couldn't play for 12 months when I was a kid. And England trials, got to the last 24, I think, left out of the last 8. So there was all that happening at 15, to go into Norwich, and then. So I had all these sort of adversity things to deal with at a young age, really. Yeah. And then I went to Swindon, and I played for one of the hardest managers ever. You know, Steve McMahon was a hard nut. And I saw him do. You know, he was not a nice fellow, really. You know, he didn't like Vinny, he didn't like Paul Dickoff.
No,
for Man City.
I watched that Vinny Jones documentary the other day. What they don't say, you know, they give him all the hard man type thing, and I know he's fairly humble from that position. I think he doesn't sort of give it the big one, but that challenge he did in 1988, where he goes in. What they didn't tell you is that Steve Marr caught him on the chin. That's why just above the eye. He's got a massive thing in there. Yeah. And you know, he was hard. That guy was. Yeah. Stephen Marr was a hard guy. So
and he was always like angry, you know, like Nick's, you know, dead tense. And obviously, I know his brother John quite well and thing. So but do you know what? I wouldn't change any of it. Yeah, it really instills. You know, I left home at 16 and did what I did, and it really instills all them elements that you need to be a footballer. And I'm a little bit old school now. You know, I'm 47, but I'm so old school in certain ways.
Just while we're on that, I know you're just about to say that, but I put down a question on here. Was there a particular coach or manager who's influenced not just your career? Was there one person that, you know, maybe a schoolboy coach, something like that you can actually draw on that goes, yeah?
I think this is my first ever interview to get a manager's job at Barrow, and I put it in my application. The CV and things. And when you're having an interview, and I said, I've taken probably loads of little things from each manager, really, of what not to do and what to do. Colin Allison was another one. He was at Forest Green, legend. You know, you look at his CV he sadly passed away, but Celta Vigo and Hereford, and set up Ronnie Radford for that famous Hereford. Yeah. But he was 72 or 70, and he'd come in, he'd just have like a jockstrap on and a pair of Copa Mundial boots, doing a team talk. Hey, you know, and he taught the famous Neil Grayson here and things like that. And hey, Meechan, get off the old man, and just the way he was and his persona and the way his enthusiasm was unbelievable, you know. And I just think if you're honest enough and you're genuine with them players, they'll naturally buy into you anyway. Yeah. You know, never mind your experience and your coaching ability or things like that. I just think it's how them players see you as a person first and foremost. And there's been one or two I've not played for, because who they are as people.
Obviously, when you then went in to do that, so you started as a player coach, didn't you? So
I was 32, so I was
young age as well.
I'll tell you what done it for me. I played in a game for Colwyn Bay. Frank Sinclair was the manager. Good lad, Frank. And I got spat on the first time it ever happened to me. And the lad I think he's still playing now. And I'll never forget his name. I'm not going to announce him, but he spat on me at the corner. I remember coming off. I was raging. I wanted to grab him in the, you know, not me, that isn't, you know. And I just remember thinking, I'm not playing anymore if people are doing that to me, you know.
Yeah.
I've played everywhere and no one's ever done that. And that week, ironically, Telford were having a stinker. Sinton has gone, I don't know what happened, but John Pisaris took an interim manager and he rang me, said, Meech would be ideal, get in here, we need to galvanise this. We had, I think they were like on a 23 game, not one or something. I was like, oh God. So I thought, sod it, I'm going to do it. I'm interested in being a coach and a manager, that's what I wanted to do. And that was the start. And I just thought, but my dad always said to me, and everyone, when I look back now, you should never have quit, because I'm still quite fit now to run around. My body can't really do as much, obviously, in terms of 90 minutes, but I could have probably played another 5 or 6 years. I look at Kev Ellison, you know, at Vauxhall, and I think that could have been me. Yeah. But then I wouldn't have had the experiences I've had, you know, being at Barrow.
Still could be with Kev Ellison.
Well, you know,
you still got a couple of years left.
Yeah, of course. But he's lean and mean. But
It's a very good example, though, isn't it? We talked about that when
brilliant.
The last day of the season, and the example that he set in,
the
bars that he set in, and you know, it was on the radio. Jamie Curtin was on the radio yesterday. He's looking to get something like 11,000 games.
Crazy record.
It's quite fit. I played against Jamie.
You know, he's still. It isn't the worst thing in the world, is it? That some people, you know, get a lucky draw as far as fitness goes.
Injuries
and
he was
like
on
that.
the Norwich one, wasn't he?
Yeah, good lad as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Look how we started there. It's just it's full circle around there. As well, just with the coaching, Barrow obviously was one of you were
a little bit like Stafford Rangers. So you come in, the budget's nothing, you know, and I remember being a manager here, and I did an auction in there. Mark will tell you, Mark Bennett did an auction to try and raise money to try and then all of a sudden my 5 best players are in the stand because they've got 12-month injuries, and you're like, that was a decent auction. It's not even helped me. You know, we're just paying the contracted players out of it. So, but yeah, it was, and then all of a sudden, it's like a skeleton of a club, and then a bit of investment, and a little bit, and you watch it snowball. And I feel, and I've said this to the gaffer many times, it feels like you're going back, doing it again, a rerun. Yeah. And it's absolutely, and it's refreshing. Yeah. And it's also exciting, and I can understand everyone, you know, but there's still going to be complex issues, and it's not just going to go boom and we're going to go. You know, as a supporter, I get it. I've been a supporter of Bradford City, so you sort of. But there's going to be times where things might not go right from Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, and even though them supporters are vying for us and dying to do well, it's not. Look at Hensford. You know, all right, they've had 2 promotions, but there's been periods in them 2 years where, you know, 5 or 6 games down. What's going on here? You know, so it's not just going to happen. You know, we've put great squads together. For, you know, on paper, but football's not paid on paper, is it? But you've still got them instill the values that the gaffer and Alfie and Coxie we go on about is the winning mentality, the resilience, the ruthlessness to go, that winning desire and passion, and that comes from us. And that, you know, that motivation, and that's what we're going to do, hopefully, and then hopefully it'll all. Well, let's go where we want to go. We're all fingers crossed on that one.
I honestly think there's no better person to have in the dugout than yourself, Meech. I think you know, seeing those players that have come in, the kind of characters we've got, I think, that's it's going to be fun for us on the commentary. I think next season on the radio, isn't it?
But before we go any more on to the future and what the future holds in the Rangers at the minute, we'll just continue on the journey, because I think a lot of the fans want to know that some of them might not know the sort of background that you've had in football, and it's very interesting to have that create the sort of you know, fanzine type things for Rangers, but it's always quite nice to have that bit of magazine type feel where, you know, get to know people and understand the background and what's led you to where you have. And looking at the list here,
it's a big list.
A long list,
it is a long list. Yeah. We're not going to go through all of it.
There's a few relegation battles.
We're going to have to add another hour on to this one.
We'll go through a few of the clubs. And,
no worries.
Yeah, and then we're going to go through some of the little stories about them. But
maybe a story about a teammate or a memory or no comment if you don't want to say anything.
So we've got, this is according to Wikipedia, so this might be something, you know, it might go off in a complete different direction, but 97-98, Swindon Town, 1 appearance, 0 goals.
That was a debut at Wolverhampton Wanderers away, that was. 3-1 we lost. Chris Casper got sent off, and I came on the last 5 minutes, and Robbie Keane and Steve Bull up front. Not bad, that, is it?
No, not at all.
And Keith Coe, yeah, he was horrible.
God, they'd love to have them back now.
I remember going to Man United on one of the guided tours of the stadium, and when we got into the dressing room, and Chris Casper's shirt was up on there, and the woman doing the tour said, "Future England centre back." That.
Oh, he was good.
He
He's a good lad as well,
wasn't
nice lad,
it?
yeah. He, his dad, and this is the weird thing. So my cousin was a big Burnley fan, and his dad managed Burnley. So you know, at 17, like, oh my God, my cousin's going to be buzzing, you know, things like that, because you're just coming across these names.
Yeah.
And it was just.
I mean, for a striker one, you know, up against Steve Bull.
I remember they had that big that scoreboard, and you know the screen, and I walked on, I'm thinking, better not get a side view here. So, you know what I mean?
I know about that. We all know about that, mate.
So if we'll go through. We've got then Swindon Town debut, big time. You've got Bristol City, 98 to 2000.
Yeah, brilliant time. Still go back there and play in a few games for them, and
saw something on socials.
4 years. 4 years I was there, and you know what? I had 7 managers, and I was never when we talked about it all. I scored 4 goals for them in that, and there was like 3 I banged in before we got to Wembley, the windscreen final, the old Wembley, and I should have been on the bench for that. And things happened and whatever, but I was in the squad but got let down. And again, 18 years old, you know, and you're like, my word. That's good. My dad lived in Saudi Arabia. I'm ringing him up, crying my eyes out from the hotel just before the game. And I remember going in to the changing rooms, and there was like a celebrity game before we kicked off. 80,000. We had a police escort against Stoke, and Chris Evans was there. Remember TFI?
Yeah.
And he's having a wee next to me, and I'm just so gutted. And I'm like, all right. You know? And now I'm like, oh my God, give me that now. I mean, I'm a right night out with it.
That period, though, didn't Bradford City just get promoted to the Premier League and then so swings and roundabouts?
Yeah, but I sort of, this is the mad thing. So when I was at Swindon Town, I was sub against Bradford City, and I didn't get on.
Oh, no.
No, but you know what? That made me stop supporting them. It was weird. Yeah. It was almost as if I thought, right, that's it, done now. I've had every kit from about 4 years old. And just stopped. I had all the paper cuttings, all the programmes, because my mum and dad and granddads and family still live there, so I used to send. But just stopped.
It's weird. I always wondered how professional footballers, because obviously they support society as they're growing up. The majority of them. At what point you can say, no, that's it. No, I'm not supporting them.
Yeah, it's mad. It just went that. But you know, I don't know.
I suppose that was the Benito Carbone.
Jeff Richmond was a chairman, Peter Beagrie, Lee Sharp, Chris Waddle. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, it was real players. They did well, didn't they? Was it Jemson who kept them up first?
They beat Liverpool to stay up. Yeah, do you remember? 1-0 at Valley Parade it was.
Yeah, they were unlucky. I think this is the year after, but
Peter Beagrie, did he play there?
Oh, he did. Yeah.
Top Everton, what a celebration!
God, what a chop he had.
Yeah, class. Anyway.
This is going to go on for hours.
How many times are we going to say Forest Green?
I know. Well, Forest Green.
So Forest Green.
First of the Forest Green.
Yeah. So my first thing, I went on loan. I went on loan from Bristol City. I had a worldie. So, and when you talk about how good did you think you were going to be, I remember my debut for Forest Green. And bearing in mind there was Nigel Spink, Tony Daly, like proper players. You know. Great. I remember we played Stevenage first game. I was on loan, didn't meet any of the lads. And I hit one straight from the kickoff and nearly scored. It just went over the bar, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I remember thinking, you look back now and think, take some balls to do that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I did. I had that edge to really want to kick on, you know.
That fine line in between arrogance and confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And but sadly, as I had a good year at Forest Green and went back, I sort of lost that edge because I became. People told me not to go into non-league, but sadly I got into that sort of attitude where I knew I was decent, but I just lost that edge. Does that make sense? To really, and I turned into that little bit of a, joker and more jovial and like the atmosphere and, got into a bit more beer and things like that. Not that I was an alcoholic or anything, because I was still a fit boy, but you just lost that little edge. And I think if I'd have gone back and stayed at Bristol City, I had another year left. That's probably what I should have done.
Were you happy though with that decision? Like at that time, did you think to yourself that, okay, maybe the dream, the schoolboy dream of playing for England and things like that, that's not really now a possibility, or maybe it's a bit further away?
No, I still believed. But Danny Wilson then he sort of said, no, you're not going to play. You're not going to play for me. and that was the point where I was like, wow. And I should have signed for Plymouth Argyle, not Forest Green.
Yeah.
I had an agent at the time. Again, if I'd speak to any young person now who's got an agent, they really need to be careful, because I got for 2 years to go to Plymouth, which was back to my hometown club, which would have been brilliant for me at a time. I would have been Paul Sturrock's first signing, and he was staying in the hotel because he's not long had the job, and he offered me 2 years, and my agent said, no, I've got you going to Notts County in Div 1 next week. And I went there, and then Paul Sturrock didn't want to know. He was like, you know, but I was a 19, 20-year-old kid, you know, being advised by some dinosaur. Bless him.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing, isn't it? And with the players coming through, especially in non-league, you know, we do see now and again.
There's a lot of them with
there's
agents,
a few of them that you can see a gem that don't quite get there, and it could be like attitude or maybe something like that. So I think it's important to have individuals like yourself involved with that, bringing on these ads, because at the end of the day, they're just young men, you know. We fanboy,
and you get built up in it.
We.
You get like chewed up in it. You know, you start believing your own hype and things like that. Yeah, but some good times at Forest Green now.
Well, we'll go. I'll start rattling these off. You went to Dagenham and Redbridge.
Yeah, night daggers. I went for 10 grand there.
Nice.
Chairman and the manager. Yeah, but I had to leave, mate. There's a story there. I did something that not. Yeah,
can you share that?
I can do, not a problem. I didn't like the manager, Gary Hill, if you're watching. He had a good few years there. He was a bit of a car salesman, couldn't coach, nothing, you know. But got the players in, clueless, and he said something to, like, remember Fitzroy Simpson?
Yeah,
he said something racial to him after one of the games, and we had Mark Steen and another black lad called Mark Smith, Smudge, great lad, and I heard him say it, and I sort of opened up again, 22, young, and I said, yeah, he said it, and then that was it. That was the end of me. Done.
Well,
so I had to go back, and Trevor Halsey, God bless him, legend, Forest Green chairman, he took me back because he was like, oh, mate, you know, but I had his flat in London for 6 months. That wasn't bad.
No, I mean, Dagenham and Redbridge, they're the ones taken over by KSI, isn't it?
Yeah.
So things changed.
I met some good mates there, though. Lenny Piper, brilliant, good times.
So then you go back to Forest Green Rovers, another 22 games after that one, 6 goals.
That was with Trev. That was with the debacle of what happened.
And then from 2004, we're into now.
The RMI, I remember them from the competition.
So what happened there? I didn't want to stay at Forest Green. I'd been at Luton on trial as well. Yeah. So Mike Newell said, look, there's nothing there. Him and Mick Arthur, brilliant. Said nothing there.
Class guys.
And mate, brilliant. I had some nights out with them as well, by the way, in St Albans.
You'd feel safe with Mick Arthur.
Yeah.
We have to put some pay-per-view, and then you can do the stories.
And then
only fans type thing.
And then I ended up. But there was you know, if you'd sign and it was after the deadline, so I could sign. So I had to sign for the RMI.
Right.
But Chris Wilder wanted to take me to Halifax. But he couldn't do it until a certain time because I'd signed. So that was what had happened.
So you just nipped there for
12 games, it was, I think, 12 games. And I hated every second.
What is the RMI anyway? I remember
it was it was horrendous. It was it was called the Hilston Ground. It was horrendous, mate. The changing rooms were just it was disgusting place to play football.
Daz off cam, did we ever play?
But it was a lovely club, a great lovely club. But just the venue and mate, it was like, come on.
Some of the places you've been playing, I mean, you go into the. So then we got Halifax Town.
Yeah, brilliant year. I couldn't really get in though because they were flying in the playoffs, and it was like I just added competition to them. But Chris Wilder was brilliant.
So you go back to Forest Green Rovers.
The final stint.
Because a player I knew well, Bristol City, Gary Howers, he got the job, and he was desperate for me to come back. But I went back as a right winger. Whereas I've been a forward. This is what I talked to you about now. This is where your edge totally goes. You now, because you're fit and you can get up and down. And managers, I've been a manager and a coach, so he'll be all right there. He's fit, he can get up and down, he tucks in, he can do the honest. Meechan will play there, right wing. So I went there as a right-sided midfielder. Didn't play up front.
Right, I'll play there.
And Guy Maggio was up front. So fans don't know Guy Maggio.
Look at the coming through.
Me and Guy didn't really get on.
Okay.
No, he couldn't take to my personality, bless him. But
a bit too much for him.
No, he was just too serious, and he claimed he was 21, and I said, "You're not 21." So he didn't like that shout.
His lads at Villa.
And he never passed to me, you know. He never passed to me. It was like York and not York and Sheringham. Yeah, I think it was a little bit like that.
Right, where are we now then? So we're off to Chester City.
now.
Yeah, so Jim Harvey came in at Forest Green after Gary Howes got sacked. Me and Jim didn't really see it. I love Jim, good bloke, but he wanted a little bit robotic players where they weren't allowed to speak in training and all that. And
that's not you, is it? No.
And so what happened is I was signing for Steve Burr at Northwich. I'd agreed to meet Burry.
Yeah.
Literally.
Another
this year.
Mark Wright rings up and says, "I'm with you at Chester. They were the league above." And I'm like, "Now it's back in the league."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I thought,
this is Mark Wright.
yeah, good bloke.
England. Yeah.
And I thought, right. So I've been Steve Burr.
Yeah.
And felt terrible because I've never done that all my life. But I thought I've got to look after myself here. And I went and signed for Chester that afternoon. He couldn't go on, and I said, "Listen, he wasn't happy with me, Barry, but he
understood.
We ironed it over because obviously I've worked.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what I did.
I think he's just become the assistant manager at Vauxhall.
Vauxhall's, yeah.
And well worth it was 8 games and no goals apparently according to Wikipedia. Is that wrong? Did you score for Chester?
Probably not because I was like sub and stuff. It was they had 2 decent forwards. I think Kev Ellison was there. John Waters was there for a bit.
Oh yeah, John Waters.
Yeah, it was.
So then it goes on to Then it goes on to York City. Great place. Good night out in York. Love a night out in York. Mate.
Yeah, I did, but my mum and dad lived in a caravan in Knaresborough.
Right.
Not quite York. So I was to and fro from there. But do you know what? What happened there is Billy McEwen knew Jim Harvey, the manager of Forest Green, and I was never going to play there either because Jim Harvey had said to Billy on the AGM, "I was Meeks the Clown or something," and Billy McEwen was like proper Scottish, didn't want anyone speaking in training. You had to like go there and literally be a robot. And he didn't like me at all.
Okay, so then you go on to Stalybridge Celtic, another
brilliant
sort of club
successful spell there.
Yeah, I was under Bury, and that was a different class. To be fair, we should have gone out.
Was that Conference North then?
Yeah, Conference North, and we played at Burton, lost to Barrow in the final. Yeah. When I signed for Stalybridge, Barrow in the relegation zone. Nah.
Circles again.
Circles, there's a few circles to that.
Then it's on to Altrincham. Don't worry, folks, we're nearly there.
Yeah,
well, we're about halfway actually.
I think we maybe cut some.
Cut this off now.
We've got. Okay, we'll go
from those clubs there though that you can see. So going from Droylsden down to Barrow, where you finish your playing days. Yeah. Anything there that was like a standout for you?
One promotion at Telford, and it was one of the best years of my life.
Was that also the Conference?
Andy Sinton was the manager, John Saris and Darren Reid. Brilliant, really good. We had do you know what? Andy Sinton was obviously a legend. Respected him straight away, but when you look now, he had the best group of non-league players in terms of the endeavour, the willingness. We wanted to win for each other, and that was really, he just needed to manage that. And when he won promotion, he tried to change everything too quick. And that was the boom. And he struggled. Because we never had a bad spell. And I always remember saying in the car school, there was me, a guy called Shane Killer, Sean Newton, I'd say, lads, he is good, but a good manager, how he is when you lose games. And the next season, we were part-time, he's wanting me to come in on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm 30 years old, and I'm like, hang on a minute, mate, you know what I mean? And it was never going to work.
It's funny, isn't it? Because some of those clubs that Telford being one is like a traditional.
Oh, I love Telford.
Rival
I've got a lot of time for
the golf is. Apart from going on playing in friendlies, there hasn't really been that competitive edge between them.
And that's it. And they've now got it with Hensford, haven't they? Next season, they're going to be playing each other.
Tamworth's another one.
That North, even further up. I'm really slouching here like this, like I'm just comfortable. But
because I'm putting you to sleep, Craig.
Really appreciate that though, which I mean there's a lot of clubs there.
It's like trigonometry.
You've gone through a fair few of them as well, and like I say, it's gone back around in circles a lot of the time, and you've mentioned plenty of Rangers names there amongst it, but going into the new season, you're back in out the club. You came back towards the end of last season and stayed up. The whole platform has completely changed going into the new season. How do you see things, and how do you see your role within what happens?
I'm relishing it, to be fair. I love the gaffer. I love the management staff. I think they're brilliant. And as a group of supporters, you've got people who are really wear their heart and soul on their sleeve, and they're desperate to get success as well. And like I said to you, I think although everything's happening, it's not just going to happen. We're all going to have to stick together. There's going to be moments where board, supporters, there's going to be a little bit of adversity somewhere along the line, and we've just got to go, hang on a minute, let's take a breather, you know, because as I said, it just won't happen. It's going to take us all to really be together, and I think we can do it. You know, we can't be desperate. We can't show our desperation.
I think some of those things that you mentioned about your experience are going to be really important with that.
I hope so.
You know, we haven't really touched on, but the amount of signings that we've made and bringing all that together, it doesn't just happen, does it? Like, it's about then using those experiences.
George Stevens been working, you know.
It's been insane, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been, but brilliant, because you've got to embrace that. You know, what non-league clubs gets a little bit of investment, and
don't happen.
No, don't.
What's it like for 11 signings now so far?
So how many we got?
11 so far, yeah. It's I'm going to count them up again last night. How hard is that, do you think? And I've asked a lot of the players this on their interviews, but going into the new season and then gelling quick enough, using pre-season, using that time you guys have got with the players, how hard is that, do you think, for a big group of new players?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. There's going to be a little bit of complexity around it, but because the sad thing is we're not full-time. If you're full-time and you had 5 sessions a week and they were double sessions, you know, that's what full-time footballers are doing. We've got a short space of time. We've got to cram games in. You've got lads who work, you know, things, the dynamics of their life and things. Babetto's not long had a baby. It's a 12-day-old baby, bless him.
Congratulations, Babetto.
So it's all these elements you've got to work with at non-league, but you can't have a better group of managers or people that understand that and also will push them players to the limits. You know, if anyone who comes to watch our training sessions and see what Alfie's analysis is before, and you know, it's over what the remit is for this level.
Players have been well impressed with like the presentations and you know, what they've been sold, and I've got, you know, every time I've come down to do these interviews, and sorry, there's no transfer tonight, everyone, so you're gonna have to miss a day finally, but that buzz that you guys have, you know, when I come in and see, like, you know, you, Alfie, Deeks and George there, and you can just feel that positivity that's coming through already, can't you? And you mentioned Barrow, does it have that, like?
It is absolute. I've said to the gaffer loads of times, this is it. Like, we really have to go and push and be our A game every training session, every time we meet. You know, we've got to stick together and really have a right go, and I honestly see it, because you know, you get promotion or you can have a really successful season. Who knows? You know,
what are you most excited about seeing next season, from the signings you've seen so far, and from what the possibilities are from when that first whistle goes? What are you excited about seeing?
Well, I'm sure the supporters are like thinking it's trigonometry now, won't we? Should we say 8-1-1? And I'm just looking forward. Do you know what? It sounds sad to say, but I'm a coach and I love coaching, but I can't wait to see him train, and you'll see the quality. I remember being at Barrow and surviving that first year under Darren Edmondson, and then the second year we had that investment, and I remember watching. We was at Myerscough College in Preston. It was the first session, and I sat back and I was like, Gaffer, he was like, this is what they do. The better players, they do it for you sometimes. You can just step back and watch, and you want the intensity high and things like that. But and I'm looking forward to that. You know, I'm quite high energy, as you can tell anyway.
But that's kind of what's needed, isn't it? Like, there's got to be that infectiousness, and Deeks is very similar to that, in the fact that when we speak to him, he's got a load of experience to draw on.
Absolutely, it's brilliant.
You know, and I know people going about like name dropping stuff like, but for people who haven't been around that, it's like, I don't mind that at all. You can name drop as much as you like, because what it does is it gives you that little bit of, actually, this person's been there and done it, and I can learn something for him. And if you don't learn something from him, that's on you.
And he's played under Paul Merson, one of the biggest characters under Paul Merson. You know, and he's seen the demise, and he's seen the positives, and he's seen the negatives, and and I'm totally with you. I think
for the other ones coming through, you know, we've got a lot of new lads to come in, you know, and you know, some of them, you know, will gel and some of them won't gel so well, you know, because, you know, you've got a lot of people.
Not everything's going to go swimmingly.
So you're going to have to accept it, you know, and at home, if they're watching this, you know, we're going to have to experience that. We're going on a journey with you. The difference is we're actually with you now. And it feels as though like everybody's involved with it, you know, and we can have conversations like this. And you know, it really helps that you're malleable enough to be able to come in here and go like, yes, I'm quite happy to share some of my experiences. I think it means a lot, doesn't it?
And we're all gonna make mistakes. We're humans,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So there's going to be one or two decisions. Look at Thomas Tuchel. You know, he's picked an England squad, and people are like, "Well, I should have took Foden." You know, it doesn't matter what level. You are never going to please every football supporter.
But
it doesn't matter.
It's exciting for us, and I think, you know, I speak for every Rangers fan when I say that, just like you know, we're looking forward to
Absolutely, I am totally, honestly. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Just before we move on to the next part, we'll just have a little check. You mentioned Thomas Tuchel, so we'll talk about maybe the World Cup squad, but we do know that obviously we've had the comments open. We've got our production team behind us there. If there's any questions that have come through, we do, don't we? Yeah, we need something.
It's comment time.
But Josh, if you want to come and join us, just see if there's any questions that we can poke their way towards.
Evie Dixie says should be there every game, supporting you next season.
And that's brilliant, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yes.
Alan G says thanks for the tribute to Eric.
God bless him.
That's what it is.
Lovely stuff.
Everyone else just says hello.
Hello.
So
thanks for those comments. And you know, again, when we keep this podcast going, there's going to be plenty for you to hopefully comment on. And particularly one thing I do want everyone to comment on is the fan survey that is live at the moment. That runs until the 20th of July and of June. And once that closes, we can analyse that data and we can look at what the fans want. And we know one of those things is a winning team on the pitch. But we're going somewhere to doing that.
Someone asked Meeks about the Greyhound.
No one is who knows.
Well, the Greyhound's quite famous in football dressing rooms. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Trap six, brilliant.
We're going to cut the Greyhound there, I'm afraid. We're not going to go into that one, but we're going to round off, Meeks, just with a bit of light stuff. Obviously, we've got the World Cup coming up, so away from all the non-league stuff, away from Stafford Rangers, World Cup wise, and I know Rich probably got some questions, but earliest memory for you? Mine was 90, you're probably about a year
86.
86,
I remember.
86.
Yeah.
Maradona, I remember it.
I
was only 6, but I remember my dad was devastated. But it was a time where my dad was a chain smoker anyway, but he'd sit and he was smoking, you know, and a can of skull in his hand and watching it, and I'm like cuddled into him. And I remember him beating the players, and then he dinked up and he handball, and you're like, oh my god.
There were no real replays back then, was there? You only saw it like maybe once after, and it was
unbelievable how he got away with it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then went on and won it as well.
Oh, fair play to him. He was brilliant.
Yeah, he was class money.
It
was 90 for me. That was the first. I remember that obviously Roger Miller, the celebration, and
1990, brilliant.
Higuita, the goalie,
Who was the Mexican goalkeeper? Wore the Olympics kit, Georgie Campos.
Nan used to make them for him.
Yeah,
brilliant story. But yeah, they were proper. I always wanted. I was a keeper.
Do you know who I used to love? Georgie Hagi, left-footed for Romania. Yeah. Beautiful football.
94 World Cup, he had a good in there, didn't he?
And then it was England 1990, devastating. Oh, God.
Where were you when? So you'd have been about 12, 13 during the Germany game, losing that semi-final. 1990. So
yeah, no, I was 10. I was still
10 at the time. Yeah, so gutting feeling to lose that.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Let's not concentrate on the negatives.
No. We know how to win penalty shootouts now, don't we? We've won a few recently. But what do you make of this World Cup? It's a 48 teamer.
I'm not sure that's going to go. Like this is, it's going to be a long one, isn't it? I think, and it's going to be a lot of goals chalked off of VAR, aren't there? Now.
I think the thing is that size of it, it does feel as though it's going to go on. I think that's taken away from the excitement of the league.
Yeah. Do you think it makes the tedious group games like
a little bit?
Like they should come a bit, and I mean, at least a bit more knockout games. So that goes bigger. But for me, I look at it and I'm one of those people who will look at England's path like as soon as the groups are staged, and then I'm like, Spain.
Spoiler, he's already done this. By the way, he's got bets on already. He's done.
So let's just go for it. If England win the group,
oh God, here we go.
They get past the round of 32. We play Mexico in Mexico City. 1 a.m. in the morning for you. Early.
Do you know what? The big thing for me with England is defensively, I am a little bit sceptical.
Yeah.
And also Harry Kane. I think we rely on Harry Kane so much.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to gets over the line.
Kane gets injured. You worry. Obviously, Tony can't replicate what he does.
What's 2006 one last night or 8 with Rooney and Rio Ferdinand talking about when Owen got injured and Rooney played with his metatarsal. And obviously that was a golden generation, and he was talking about it, and you're like, that's what it takes.
That's it. Just one little thing can just knock everything.
Out of that, and you mentioned about Thomas Tuchel. Is there any glaring omissions that you would have gone? Well, I'm not sure about that one. I'd probably still.
I would have took Maguire all day.
Yes,
I just think you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
But again, you don't know what they've looked into. Apparently, they've done like tests with the blood and all sorts about it.
Heroin.
Yeah, well, it might be heroin. I don't know these days. Or he didn't have a snooze good enough for the, whatever they do now.
But Maguire's a big game player, isn't he? He can take a penalty as well.
I just think he's in both boxes. He's consistent. And people going about Foden and.
For us, we're Stafford. It's Morgan Gibbs White for me. What a season he's had at the end.
Yeah, he's done brilliant.
He's a Stafford lad, so I'm obviously going to give it a little bit more. But
I just think we have got good players there. You've got Eze. You know what I mean? You're riddled with talent. I just think he doesn't defensively, and like we're relying on Kane.
Right.
Yeah,
Mr. Tuchel, you've heard it here first.
Meech says.
When you get sacked, somebody else is in the running now.
That centre-half partnership, though, I get that. I think Gay and...
Well, he's going to play Joe Riley left back. He'll play Reece James, and then it'll be Stones and
Gay. But if Stones
I love Gay, by the way.
Quality centre-half. But if Stones gets injured quickly, it's Gay, and then...
Yeah, Stones has been... That's 2 years, isn't he?
I wouldn't even play him in the group stage. I'd wait until the knockout because he'll get injured in one of those games and then wait.
This is Mystic Meg, isn't it?
Where did we get? Sorry, Rich.
I don't know. They'll get through the group, but you like to think. And then Mexico and Mexico City's not going to be easy. And again, depends what players are available or what's happened. You like to think we're going to get semi-finals, don't you?
You get to a certain age,
and it's going to.
I've kind of seen this before. I know the script.
It's like Stafford Rangers fan, that's so easy.
Not anymore.
These young lads here haven't seen anything. No success whatsoever.
Alfie's a Wolves fan, I bet, isn't he? Do you like Wolves? Jimenez, Trippier?
Just Stafford
Rangers. I love you, Alfie. I love all that.
To the core.
Brilliant.
We've got a few more of the World Cup chat just to round this one off. So, favourite World Cup tournament of all time?
Gascoigne.
1990.
Devastated. Yeah, devastated. Loved it. And Lineker was brilliant, wasn't he? Gary Lineker.
When he did the whole...
I didn't realise how good he was. When he was exceptional.
Finishing,
Butcher.
Top.
The
whole. That was a quality.
And who was the Italian centre forward? Scalacci,
Toto Scalacci with a big accent.
Baggio, Scalacci. Good times.
Class World Cup.
Best World Cup match you've ever watched? I'd struggle with this.
Never watched. On telly.
On telly. Final, the last one for me.
No, I think it was the England game against Germany. I know we lost, but I loved it. And it's a proper memory for me when Gaza, and he got off the plane with the fake boobs and all that. Brilliant.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Big hands, didn't he?
Very big hands.
Any players that we should be looking out for breakout stars of the tournament? We tend to bet on things like this, like a youth player in there. Is anybody you think of that? I mean, that was pretty difficult. Well,
it was Theo Walcott back in the day, wasn't it?
No,
I don't know.
I
couldn't tell you.
Is anyone from the...
Obviously, Yamal is a disgrace, isn't he? How good he is.
We'll give you that one then. We'll move on quick because I'd struggle with that one.
I've asked Nathan to sign him.
If you could play alongside any World Cup legend, who would it have been?
God.
Strike partner out there for you.
Do you know what? I'd love to play with Alan Shearer. Just knocking down for a little ferret to run on. I'd have loved it.
Yeah, I can see that. That would have been.
Instead of the SAS, Shearer and the ferret.
Yeah. It was. I was just thinking like the Niall Quinn and Kevin Phillips.
That was it. What a partnership that was.
And the final one, the World Cup chat, is if Stafford Rangers could sign one World Cup winner in their prime, who would you choose? Anybody. So this is like fantasy FIFA type.
Proper fantasy.
The man, Messi, isn't it?
Messi.
Gotta be.
Hey?
Gotta be. And
Lionel Blair named that tune. I know all day.
Another one, Nathan, if you can, again, put the word into Lionel Messi, that'd be much appreciated.
I'll come on speed though, hang on.
Meech, thank you so much for this evening. It's been honestly, it's been great to have you on here, and just to listen to those stories, listen to about your career, listen to those the aspirations for next season, and just what.
I'm glad only the Graham was announced once.
You've got away with that.
There's a few. I've been a bit of a joker in my time in the dressing room. I'm not going to lie.
What's the biggest joke you pulled?
Don't know. I did used to ring. Another reason why I probably left Dagenham is I used to ring the manager and do thanks, man. And I remember he got us in the change room before training. Like, want me to swear, but he went, "Who the fucking hell's Percy?" He said, "We'll fucking have him." And I'm like, so that might be another reason why I got the.
Dagenham messages. We'll just cross that one off your Wikipedia thing.
You can edit Wikipedia, right? You can,
you can put like an asterisk.
That one.
But yeah, good times. I've had some great. Do you know what? It's been some emotional and really deep moments in football, but I wouldn't change it. I really wouldn't.
Look, I think that's music to everybody's ears. They want to see that there's a realism about you, and the fact that you wear your heart on your sleeve. You're very honest with all the answers that you've come out with. It just makes you, very endearing. And I speak on behalf of the fans. I think it's been great since you've been back. There's something.
You felt it last week. We all said it, didn't we? We felt it when he came out last season. That's it. Just kind of like.
Yeah, I've got that lunatic energy in I.
Bit of a missing ingredient, you were, Meech. That's all it was. And I'll be
Pete
honest.
said that the other day. He said, "You're a lunatic, man."
I've got to say as well, Harry Barry Flowers is enjoying the childcare. It's giving us an extra.
Well, I'm happy. It's £100 fine. Happy days. It's a good start to the season.
Harry will be on here later on. We'll get him back at some point.
Will.
So,
we'll bring you flowers in the pouring.
Yeah, so as always, when we close these ones out, we do end with a sort of sign off. But thank you to everybody who's tuned in and dropped in comments in. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you give us any comments in there, also get on. I'm sounding very YouTube here, but get on all our socials: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
Are we on the TikTok? Are we on that yet?
I'm not sure, but maybe if you want me to get on the TikTok, I could do a few dances. Meechan, I'll do a dance. We'll get doing.
You do a great job, lads. This is number 3, isn't it?
And it is number 3. And I promised as well, we're getting a penalty shootout in where I'm saving. I reckon I saved maybe 2 out of 5 of yours.
Yeah, you ain't saving mine. Cooksy didn't save any of mine. Back in the day, did you, Cooksy? He looked like that. He's like that now.
He doesn't know about my penalty record. I get straight in. I'm like a groveler with the legs.
Good.
But to sign off all of these ones, thanks very much for listening, and make sure you do drop in there and tell all your friends about it. Stafford Rangers are going places. The big time is about to happen. Please get involved. Drop us lines. And if you're in America and you're watching this one, in Texas, big shout out to you. So please also tell all your mates about that. Stafford Rangers are big over here, and we want to be big over there as well. So please drop us a message and let us know what you're thinking. But
it's time for another borough, isn't it?
It is time for the Up the Borough. Until next time, thank you very much for listening, and up the Borough!